Hey guys, what's going on? It's been about 7-8 months since I posted anything up. 2 projects got in the way. I've been extremely busy with other stuff, and I've also expanded onto my garage a little bit here, as you can tell. So time to get back on it. But before we go ahead and do that, I just want to kind of show you some of the other cars here. This is my 90 GTR. I've had this for probably 2 years or so, and my friend had it, never drove it, finally moved out of state, and I kind of bought it off him. I owned a white one of these a while back. I owned it for maybe 10 or 11 years. That thing was really, really overbuilt probably. Sold it, missed it, and bought this one. So this is my 72 Nova. This is the first one of 2 cars that got in the way of the Celica build. This thing I drive quite a bit. It's fun, it's rowdy, it's rough, and it's pretty scary, which is not the best thing, but who cares? This here is my friend Al's 135. I don't know what year it is. I want to say 2005, I'm not sure, but it had a welded diff in it, so we're changing that out, putting LSD in it. But this thing is awesome. I love the color. You got a good deal on it, and the interior is awesome too, but soon enough this should be up and running. So the other car that got in the way of the Celica build was I had an 81, it's like my birth year car, 81 Chevy Malibu, which I know y'all thinking like, what is that? So I built it, I was excited about it, and then drove it maybe 3-4 times, and I was like, okay, this is just sitting, because I'm always in the garage. I barely drive anything else. So let's go over to the other garage. We'll get back on the Celica. In the meantime, you can check out the 81. Last but not least, 95M. So I got this car and I wanted to start racing. Went to a couple of track events. A lot of my buddies were like all into it. Said it's a hell of a lot of fun. I was like, all right, well, I've owned a couple of BMWs before, E36s. Grabbed it for a good price, and we're gonna start getting involved in some racing. I'm really excited about it. This thing is really, really simple. There's really nothing to it. So I'm not really working on this too much. My friend Al convinced me to bring it up here, which, whatever, but I'll show you what's going on. There's really nothing in here. So slight build, or I will call it refresh on this guy. I got some seats for it. I'll probably be posting a little bit of this after the Celica's done, but minimal stuff. We have to do this. I just want to kind of get on the track. Here's our old friend. Still there. Last time I think we put the flares on. I had them painted, and let's see. I put a little bit of the interior back together just to kind of like get the ball rolling again. We did some wiring underneath, and I know I kind of skipped all of that stuff. It's pretty straightforward stuff if you guys are getting involved in it. So sorry about that. But yeah, I got everything in. The shifter was kind of a pain. Just take your time with everything. Dash is in, and that's pretty much it. So this episode, we're going to be putting in door handles, which will be fun. And we're also going to put some taillight lenses in, which was exciting for me when I bought them 2 or 3 years ago. So let's go ahead and do that, and that's it. All right, guys, here's one that's completed already. This is the right hand one. You can see that they're labeled. It says 1R. And then this is the left hand one. It says 1L on it. They're kind of covered up by the powder coat now, but they are marked. So when you're sitting in the car, I know a lot of people get confused, as I do. When you're sitting in the car, facing forward, this is how you determine your right and left. So the right side obviously would be the passenger side. This is the passenger side one. The springs for this are specific as far as when you go this way or this way with it. And you'll notice that when you put it in, it just won't make sense. But it's just a good note to have. This little bend in the spring faces the front of the handle. These here tabs are specific also. They have to go towards the back. And this is what's going to actuate your handle. You can tell it moves with it. If you start understanding the function, I recommend doing a ton of research on what goes what and how this works before you start tearing anything apart. And when you do tear anything apart, this little pin here is extremely tight, and most of them are popped out of the two tabs where they need to be in. So one will be popped out and it'll be grabbing this one and be grabbing this one and this one. And when that is the case, this handle will kind of flop up when you pull it out. It gets kind of weird. Right now, everything's attached and it functions as it should. There's no wobble in this. So that's a telltale sign that your pin has slid out either one way or the other, which is kind of a dumb design because these pins are extremely short. And you can see this pin is in the center and there's still room here and there's still room here. So let's go ahead and put this one together. This is our left hand one. And we'll get started on this. I'll show you guys what to do. But like I said, again, when you take these apart, these are the tabs that will break. Because what you'll do is you'll be trying to hammer that pin out with something, and either you'll whack it and it'll hit the bottom of this and this will break off. So they're fragile, they're old, we all know that. You just need to really, really take your time with this and be extremely meticulous. Or you'll be buying and looking online for new handles. I think these are going from like $100, maybe now, maybe a little more, but regardless, take your time. So first things first, we powder coated them, right? We know that. We have to clean out all of our holes. This one I did already, this one I did not. So we'll clean these out with a little file here, if you can find something like this. And when you do clean this out, if you go a little bigger with it, it's not a problem. So don't be worried about going bigger. That'll help the pin slide in, but not too much because you'll lose material here and it'll be super brittle. And it's way brittle right now. It's kind of a ridiculous design. So let's go ahead and do that first. I have this one left to do, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to assemble. All right, now that's all taken care of. This is our little parts bag here. Let's see what we got. So what we're gonna need is this guy, and the pin. All right, first things first, let's take our pin and we want to get all this rust off here or any kind of grime. You just take your drill, put this guy in here, and stick it out a little bit and just go to town. All right, so here's our pin, nice and shined up. Here's our base and our handle. Let's put these together. Be real careful, don't really force anything. There's powder coat on this, don't forget, so things are gonna be a little tighter. Kind of line that up. And what I'm gonna do here is, actually before we get that started, let's put our spring in. So the spring, we were talking about the orientation of what's going on here. The little J is gonna be towards the back. This little like loopy thing is gonna be towards the front. Sometimes you can slip them in this way. But I think this one is a little tight. Yeah, this one's a little tighter. So we're just gonna go right in from the top. Place it where you want it. Get that hook underneath there. Kind of like that. And then take this little guy, or probably this one, kind of work it down. Work it in place, step up to the bigger one, do the same. Kind of work itself in, which I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit here. You can see it's like almost in there, but not. So let's go ahead and start our pin. Just tap it lightly. So what we're trying to do here is hammer the pin in slightly so it just gets past, the second little tab here. And once it does, if you didn't file out too much, it should stick in here. And now right now it's being held in here with this. We need to get this spring down so that I can get over it. And how we're gonna do that is I'm gonna use this guy to kind of work it in. There we go. And leave it halfway in there so it's almost touching. You can kind of see that in there. I don't know if you can, but use the table to our advantage, kind of twist it, and sort of hammer it in. Don't go too crazy because, again, be ginger with things. Once you get it past the spring, the first little coil, you should be able to hammer it all the way through the spring. I'll show you in a minute here. It's going slowly, but there it goes. Okay. We're making progress here. Now, the last bit is probably the hardest bit. So we're gonna take this, fits in the pin. So what we're gonna do is just kind of put this in and use sort of the same tactic as we did to start the pin. You kind of place it against the table and twist it, and it'll push that pin down. Hopefully it'll push it enough. It's extremely tedious, this part, but go slow. Okay. That's it. We use this. That's it. Don't go too much. So this is the left-hand side, which the door handles are going to go this way. I would favor the bottom side because this is the side that slips out. So if anything, give it a couple more towards the bottom. But you still want to keep that pin, attached to both. Yeah, I mean, it's very slight, but you can tell, like, it's not in the center. It's favoring this tab here. So that's that. And to keep that thing from moving, which you can't really put anything crazy on there because you need it to kind of move with your handle, which this one is a little not awesome. The other one's a little better, but it's getting better. I think they just need to be worked in. Yeah, it's that powder coat in between there. That's why it is binding up. I mean, once you use it, it'll be a little better, I think. And this is the one that's going to be used the most. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't want that pin to move at all. So you can't really like glue anything or like epoxy anything in there, because the pin is going to move with one of the two parts that are here. It's going to move with the base or move with the handle. For this case, this one is moving. What is it moving? It's moving with the base, meaning not at all. So we can go ahead and put some little Loctite. I put a little Loctite on the inside here. Simple Loctite on the inside because it's not moving on the inside like I was saying. It's moving on the outside. I don't know what this is going to really do. I don't think it's going to do extremely too much here, but I want it to kind of stick where I want, so that's okay. I guess we can put some over here. It's not going to hurt. It'll just free itself, if anything. That's it. I'm going to kind of work it down. Eventually, with the handle moving, maybe it'll work itself into where it needs to be, but it's kind of some cheap insurance here. So here's a little tab, and there was a pin in here that was riveted on, and that rivet had like a little step in it where this can move freely, but it was riveted. So that's another thing. When you go take this apart, which I should have told you earlier, you gotta grind that rivet off. But you have to be super easy because you might take some material away from this, which is not fun. After you do grind it flat, you can take a little punch and just work it. Probably a little one, just work it a little bit with the hammer. Very, very very gingerly. And as soon as you see it start to move, then you can kind of work it out and it'll come out itself. You'll have to probably do the same. Take it out of here, throw it out, use this. So now we have to recreate that, which I didn't really know how to do that, but I think the best way to do that is to use a little washer inside of this so it's not sloppy. And I'll show you how to do that. It's kind of tedious, but I don't know another solution for this, so this is how we're gonna run it. This side's gonna go in here. We're going to do one of these. And we're going to do this, which goes here. Right? Am I right or am I wrong? Oh, wait a minute. So anyway, let's go ahead and take this tab off here, and then we'll get it back on. But you can tell, I don't know if you can see how this is. It's got two washers, like wave washers, and they kind of keep everything steady. But this thing is really loose, looser than I thought. And the one I have is like pretty loose, but I mean it still moves nice. Let's go ahead and take this off. I'll show you guys what's up. All right, so what we want to do again. Get this out of here. Let's kind of take this little tab, which you can barely see, and we'll grind it off. But there we go. Just be real easy with it. So this is what we want. You can see that there. Just kissed the handle itself. And now we're ready to go kind of push that thing out. Let's go over to the bench. First things first, I'm going to try to work this thing out with the pliers. Maybe we'll get lucky, but I don't think so. I think they're pretty good. Oh, it's moving. hard to get a grip on it. It did move, so we're happy there. I think we're gonna have to use a vise. We'll just use a little edge here and try to use 2 hands. Something like that. There it goes. We saved it. Everything's good. Nothing's broken. We're good. Anyway, if anyone needs a handle, a right one, it's sitting here. It's not in bad shape. Here's our pin. I don't know if you can see what we're talking about here. How it's stepped a little bit. Kind of like here. This is the part that was in the handle. But it's pretty self-explanatory. So you don't need this anymore. Okay. Went ahead and gave it a quick sandblast. Let's get our screws back over here. And washers, 2 of these are going to be screwed around with. This is one going to go here. Another washer is going to go on the other side. This washer is going to go on this side. And this one's going to go here. So if you can't put everything together, tighten it down. It's not going to move. But we'll take our marker. I don't know if we need to cut this down, but I'm gonna cut it down because I don't know how much tolerance is in there. Go ahead and take everything off. We'll cut that down and I'll show you what's next. Okay, this part is extremely tedious, which, I don't know if most will do this, but I will, I guess. So, food for thought, this is kind of a dumb thing, but there is a right way to put a washer on and a wrong way, I feel. They're stamped. There's an edge on the part that's like, stamped through. So one side has semi-beveled, one side doesn't. I don't know, we're talking splitting hairs here, but I kind of put it on so the washer the nice side is facing against the part. That way, if it needs to turn, it doesn't bind anything. But whatever, this is just my mind. So we'll need this and this on both sides, and then this on that side. These 2 washers, we're gonna shave down so it fits inside of here. That way, what we have is a little spacer, so when we tighten everything down, this thing can kind of move freely. So it's a pain in the ass, but it takes some time. But again, I want things kind of perfect, so without recreating that or screwing around with the piece that we threw out, that we took out, I'll just make my own. And so here you go, 1 and 2. Send these home right in here. Like I said, it's really tedious, but here's one. And then they're not too thick, so I'll put the other one in there too. Okay, now we have our little section in there, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to put that here and here. I'm going to put 2 next to it, kind of like that. Put that in there, put it on the other side. I'm going to Loctite the shit out of this. I'm going to snug this down like pretty good, but I still want things to be able to move, so this is obviously not what we want, but let's see if we can work it just to get loose a little bit. I guess it's not too bad, but loosen it up just a little bit. That's better. So what's happening here, let's see if you guys can see what's going on here. What's happening here is like Just the piece is moving and not the head of the screw or the nut. And that's kind of what you want. We kind of sandwiched everything together. And I'm just gonna like Loctite everything as best I can, because I don't want this coming off in the door and then you won't be able to use your handle. So there's probably a better way to do this, but for now, I think this will work fine. I'm not sure how much tension is really put on this thing or how much movement it has. It probably only has like a little bit of movement because the door handle only opens, what, maybe an inch, half inch. So this really, I don't think we'll be moving too much, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I don't plan on locking my doors. So here's our handles. Let's go ahead and put them in the car. This is just as tedious, which obviously, like I said, nothing's easy. So let's go ahead and, I guess we'll probably put the passenger one in first, which is gonna be the right one. We got a little pack here. This is the right side. Let's go. I don't know, best we can do. I'm gonna get crazy with it. Whatever. Something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean everything up afterwards, but there's that. Let's go ahead and get our bracket on the back. So I think I don't know if I said this is the right way, but the tab, the open end goes towards the front of the handle. So this tab is in the back of the door. You can probably tighten these by hand. I don't gotta go too crazy. I'm gonna use a wrench, I guess, but I don't want to strip it out. So I'm kind of going easy on it. Tight. Everything is tight in here. I'm gonna kind of do my best to show you guys what's up here. I don't know if I can get in here. Let me see if I can clear it up. Oops. So there's the door handle bracket, and then this is the piece that needs to attach. I can see this like serrated edges on there. I think you can adjust, where it goes. So, and I think that has to do with like how hard or how much you pull the handle out. But I'm just gonna kind of put it in the middle and go there. I don't know if it's gonna be too tight or not. Let me try to get underneath here and kind of see everything that's going on. So hard to see, but there's your little bracket that holds the handle. That's the orientation it's supposed to be. And then the two that are supposed to be connected. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, moment of truth. Nice. Well, let's check if the inner one works also. There you go. Not too bad. You don't have to pull on it too bad. Feels good to me. Oh, I see the adjustment now. It's to get rid of this slop. Okay. So that little guy in there, I'm gonna pull up I'm gonna pull up another notch to try to get rid of this. I mean, it's not bad, but it's better. It's not like awesome because I think how the mechanism works is kind of honky. But I don't know, I'm happy with it. Probably sounds really loud on camera, but it's good. Sweet. So if you thought the fun was over, let's go ahead and put in our glass again, which it's been a little while, so I probably forgot how this goes in, but I think the most important thing is to not drop it and be pretty careful with it. Everything goes in from this way, not this way, but as you're putting it in, make sure it goes in the track, because sometimes you'll forget about that. Ask me how I know. Sure. This is for sure a little tricky. The back of the glass has to sit against it at a weird angle that doesn't feel natural, but let's just try to get it in the best we can. There's a lot of things to hang up on it, the track, a bunch of other things, but I guess we're already screwed up. We have to get the track down, which I have to take this out. I want to get that track over here so you can like get at the bolts. So I don't have, let's go this way. I don't have a handle for this, so I'm kind of like screwing around. All right. We're going to do this again. Now we can go bolt our window in. Down a little more. This is definitely a little tricky, but you get the hang of things once you start putting things together. Just like I said, make sure everything is in the tracks. If not, you're gonna have a hell of a time. That looks good. And this one looks okay. I think the window needs to be angled a little bit, but let's go ahead and semi-try to roll it up. So there is a window guide or window stop. This one's kind of worn out, but it's still grabbing a little plastic, so I think it'll be all right. One here, and the other one's right here. So you'll see the function. You only have to take this one out to remove the window because it kind of hangs up. This one can stay, so you can tell what they do once you reference this one. So I'm gonna put this back in. Let me go this way. This one goes upside down. These are adjustable also, but I'm just kind of referencing the same place as they were before. All right, guys, it's time to address these tail lights. So I do have a new set upstairs, but I probably won't be touching those and hold on to them for a little while because they are in perfect shape. So I'll probably put them up for sale maybe next year or something. But anyway, a lot of these, as you guys know, are spidered, or this one's cracked, and it's hard to find these taillights. So I want to share with you a neat little product that I found on the groups that some guy was making these lenses. So here we are. These guys are a direct replacement. They are identical, right down to the part number in here. Everything is, all the tabs, they're pretty crazy. So I bought these maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So I don't remember where I got them, what guy I got them from. But I'm gonna go back in my messages and see if I can find who it was, and I'll put a little link below. If anyone knows, just write it in the comments if you can help me out. But it was only up for like, I don't know, a little bit, maybe like a month or so he was making them. And I believe him and his brother were making them. I also got some side marker little pieces from him too, but these things are mint. I don't know how the hell you would make this thing. You have to have a dye and pour some whatever. Plus, the red like matches pretty damn good, you know. So anyway, let's go ahead and put these in and see how it goes. I'll show you what's up. It's a little tedious, but obviously with anything with this car is like that. You just have to be careful because again, these parts are probably not replaceable anymore. This here. The only thing that I remembered when I pulled this box out, because I've had them upstairs forever, I did not get this light. I don't know why I didn't, but luckily this one is still pretty good. But I was so concerned about this, I didn't think about the reverse lights. So this is the scary part. A lot of this like adhesive here is really dry, which works to our advantage, but I'm gonna kind of show you. These are the plastic that's like melted, and I'm pretty sure you can like just, yeah, see it's so soft that like it just comes off. Here's another one to do. So I guess remove this first. And hopefully yours will work like mine because the whole plastic is like really soft. So be careful prying up on this stuff. So I kind of just do like a little twist action here. And then maybe it'll like break loose a little bit. Let's go to this side. No, I don't like this at all. This guy's fighting a little.
After you get under it, you can just kind of twist. You can just pry it up. Now, you could put a little heat on this probably, and that might work, but sometimes when the adhesive is like so old, it doesn't really react to the heat. You just end up melting other shit that you don't want to melt. It's definitely on there. Okay. Nice. I'm gonna take the light bulb out also. And let's work on this one next. This one is big. Take these out. So over here. Hopefully this one comes out a little easier, but I don't think so. I just jinxed myself. Not too bad. This one is really in not too bad a shape, but there's some scratches on. Oh, it's all spidered right here. Oh, it's a big spider. So whatever, but you can tell like these things are pretty close. Maybe it's a little bit lighter. I don't know. I mean, you're splitting hairs here, but it's pretty crazy. They're exactly the same. But anyway. Now we're gonna go ahead and clean up all this adhesive, and that also is super tedious. So how we're gonna do this is I grabbed a little flathead, and I'm not really gonna like scrape too much. I'm kind of gonna like walk it. This takes forever, but I want to have this channel clear, so when I go ahead and put my new adhesive in, I can like, I don't know, not have too much, or the thing won't sit all funny, you know. But just remember when doing this, your plastic is super soft, so it'll leave, you can dig in here pretty easy. Okay, that's that. It took literally forever. So I'm gonna kind of brush this out a little bit. Any little pieces I want out of there. I'm not gonna go too crazy here with these. This one has definitely been exposed to the elements because it had a hole in it, so it's probably had water in it and God knows what, which sort of sucks. Yeah, I don't know how much you're gonna be able to see it through the red. You know, I think we'll be all right. But I mean, I can mask this and paint it and get silly and it'd be mint, but I don't know how much really that's gonna do for it. But I mean, if it was clear, yeah, you'd probably see it a lot more. But it's pretty bad. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be a huge issue. All right. Now that that's done, I just got some RTD. It's like clear, and I think that'll be enough for what we're doing here. So let's go ahead and made this little tool a long time ago. It's like kind of a little thing to squeeze it out for us. So I'm gonna fill this channel level. I'm not gonna like fill it too much or too little. go and do this all around here. Let's start here. Kind of gently push on things until it finds its home. And that's it. Gotta file this up here a little bit. Make a little clearance. See if that did it. I just had to take off a little bit here. And then I filed across the edge a little bit. Well, I mean, we're pretty damn close. I mean, for what it is, we're pretty close. And that's it. This one will stay the same. Let these dry up, but we can kind of see how things are going to look. Nice. So I chose to go with the red instead of doing the orange again. I just kind of like that look. It's cleaner. This is the blinker. But that's it. I'll clean this off. I may paint it again, but looks good to me. So here's our center section. Houses the plate. It's got our lights. Some people don't like this. It's kind of US spec. The other one is this one here, and then you would mount the plate underneath. I'm not sure if I'm going to run this. It's going to be quite a bit of work to fit. I have to put some mounting tabs or some studs to kind of figure it out. And I also will have to change the location of the plate lights, which that's going to be underneath here. It may be a little difficult. That's a project in itself. I'm not sure if I'm going to tackle that. If I leave this, I'll probably put this up for sale if someone's probably interested in it. It's kind of a unique piece. I also have the old lenses here that are not in really bad shape. This one has like slight, they're just dirty, has slight spidering. This one's in good shape. And then this orange one is kind of spidered. I'm not sure if anyone wants that, but I'll put these up for sale, or maybe if I'll just give them to somebody, whoever wants them, now that you know how to put them in. Before I let you guys go, just want to retouch on that wiring I was talking about, around the wiring. This is a couple relays I got in here. Looks like a mess right now, but I'm just kind of going through things. I'll tidy everything up later. This is my relay box I made, and I think the relays are, one's for my fan, my fuel pump, and I believe my reverse lights needed it. So I made a little bracket that works nice, and the ECU is right there. I believe it's a Link ECU. I think it's called a Monsoon. I made a little bracket for that also, so it can kind of hold itself in place nicely. It's kind of a mess in there, but like I said, I'll get back at that. The whole kit
as well as ECU. Pretty much everything you need is from Matt at Panic Wiring. So you can kind of see what's up. Everything is plug and play. Like everything's mint. So everything's really loose right now. I'll tidy everything up once I get everything running. He's super helpful, Matt. Anything that you need. I bought the kit a long time ago. I finally got around to like hooking everything up, and I had some questions, and he was like right back up to date on it. Like he was right there. Email him, he gets back to you. But bang for buck, it's probably the best you're gonna find for the beam swap like this. Look into it. He's good, and that's about it. All right, guys, that'll do it. I appreciate your time, and I will talk to you hopefully sooner or later. See ya.